Is there a word for something that's so ugly that it's kind of cute? If not, there really should be for the subject of the painting we're gonna do today. And today we're gonna continue to play with that idea of kind of carving our subject from the background. And there was one particular comment on that video that made me excited, so we're gonna paint it today. Grab your watercolors and give them a good spritz. I'm using a different set than I normally do today. This is one that I fill with different tubes of pan paint, but I have all this extra color left over here and I want to use it. As a side note, if you mix up way too much color on accident, that's okay because you can just let it dry, and once it is, you can always just reactivate it with some water and then you can use it again, which is exactly what I want to do today. And for this painting, we're gonna do the same thing we did the other day when we made that really dark background by building up different layers and colors. And the trick to building up lots of layers of watercolor is to make sure that you're taking the time to either let each layer dry or make each layer dry. And then once you get to the color that you want for your background, you want to one more time let it dry or make it dry. And then once it's dry, we want to make sure we have easy access to lots of water and some sort of a brush with sturdy bristles that aren't going to bend way too much, so we have a little more control. On your dried background, take your brush, make sure it's nice and wet, and you're going to draw kind of a V shape. The bottom part though you want to round, and then we're going to make kind of a big body or kind of an elongated oval off the top of that. We're going to bring it together. Then as we elongate it, we're going to make it thinner and thinner, and then we're going to flick it out to make a fin. Any guesses as to what this is going to be at this point? While we have that nice and wet, we're going to tap our brush dry, and we're going to grab some of that pigment to kind of reveal that shape. We're going to alternate between re-wetting our brush and re-wetting our background, tapping our brush, grabbing more and more of that color to pick more of that up. And then once the main body shape is established, we're going to start to add on some of the extra parts, like some of the fins, and we're also going to add on some of these teeth. And the way I'm actually going to do this, because it's such a fine point, is I'm going to drag up little lines of water, and then I'm going to take a little piece of paper towel and I'm just going to blot it up to reveal those very intimidating looking teeth. And then I'm gonna do a similar thing with that big antenna that falls in front of the face of these fish. It's an anglerfish, just in case you hadn't guessed. And then at the tip of the antenna, I'm gonna carve out a circular shape, wash my brush, and then I'm gonna drop a little bit of yellow in the middle of there. And then I wanna add an eye back onto the fish and I'm gonna paint it on top. And in order to do that, I do need to let it dry or make it dry. And then once it's dry, I'm going to add in a circular shape with one of those dark blue colors I use for the background, except I'm going to leave one little spot open so that it looks like either the pupil or the highlight of the eye. I'm so glad that I found this suggestion in the comments because he's so cute.